So let's begin. I welcome all to this session on cybersecurity threats. I'm Nitin. So just to give you an introduction about what I have been doing. I work on cybersecurity in a company called Lowe. I have a CEH certification, CHFI on the threat intelligence and forensics, CTIA, and I also take care of CCSP, which is cybersecurity for the cloud platforms. I take up a lot of other sessions across various industries. I'm part of Kerala government's initiative on cybersecurity, part of Bangalore's cybersecurity departments. So I take up a lot of other trainings and certifications as well. So just a brief intro about me. Now today, we are gonna start on the cybersecurity and the threats, basically, right? This is our agenda. We have 8 common cybersecurity threats. What we are gonna discuss. What are the particular threat is? What kind of how it works? How you can protect from that? You know, and I will also be showing using Python and Kali. I'll be able to show you some of the tricks and tips what we can actually follow using Python, using Kali Linux, maybe to create a malware or to create a bombing. So such things I'll also be able to show you in that. So let's go with cybersecurity threats everywhere. This is if you actually go to Google and if you search for threat maps, cybersecurity threat maps, right? You get a lot and lots of threats. You can actually see in a second, if you see, right, you can actually see hundreds of threats coming from different regions of this world, and it is hitting some other machine, some systems, some servers, maybe a banking application. You can actually understand what kind of threat it is. So if you see here, this is actually from a small screenshot taken from a checkpoint software technology. Similar to this, we have lot of other applications like FireEye, Fortinet threat map. There is a one from Kaspersky, and there is Arbor Network DDoS attack map. So lot of places you can actually see what kind of threats are happening across the globe. And we are going to talk through around 8 of those threats today. But to be very honest with you guys, every day there is a new threat. People are working on it. People will come up with new threats every day. So that is where the Python language evolving a lot. That is where the Python is coming up a lot in the market, because a lot of people are using either Python or Ruby to develop such kind of threats and making your systems so vulnerable every time. And hacking is an art. We normally call it as a art. It is not that okay, you go to the mission, or you if you have a Kali mission, you can directly go and you can just go and compromise a mission. No, it actually takes time. Some of this if you want to compromise a high security missions, it will take some time. It may take ages, maybe a year or a 2 year 3 year time to actually compromise a mission. Any missions, it is not that virtual missions cannot be hacked. Antivirus is not enough to prevent hacking, not at all. Antivirus itself will not have that vulnerability, right? So imagine you are finding a new vulnerability in the mission. That patch will not be there in antivirus. So how will antivirus know there is a vulnerability in the mission? So these are the types of threat attacks what we are going to talk today. We are going to talk about malware. We're going to talk about phishing, password attacks, DDoS, MITM, man in the middle, D by B, which is drive by download. Then we have malvertising and rock software. So now let's take malware as an example. So harmful software, malicious softwares. When I say, what is the difference between a malware and a worm then? What are malicious, right? Why do you say malwares, not worms? So see, what when you call a virus, right? Virus is something which needs to be executed to replicate. That's the difference between a worm and a virus. So uh, in that virus, we say, see, there is a outer cover for a virus which is you know which needs to be executed, right? So you are actually making sure you execute some piece of the virus, and then there is a payload, which is the malware, which is the malicious software, which is getting injected onto your machine, and that particular payload is causing problem to your systems, and that's something called as a malware. Okay, so see, if you see, these are certain things what they have come up with. That's some key malware things: the computer virus, a spyware, adware, Trojan horse, and the worms. So these are the different kinds of malwares. So it can be a virus. It can also be a worm, which we already spoke about. It can be a spyware. What is a spyware? So spyware is nothing but, it is again an infection to the computer, right? It is an infection to the computer, wherein imagine I'm gonna, compromise system or a laptop which he's using. So what I'll do is I will make sure that he downloads my software in his machine, and once he downloads, I will get to know which websites he's visiting, which platforms he's going, or what is his browsing history, what all keys he's actually doing there. So all this kind of an example we get to know. That is when, we can actually, it's not actually complete spying, it's not a spying on people, but it's actually spying on the pattern of browsing, or the email messages, username and passwords, your banking credentials, whatever. If it is a completely connected machines, like the Mac or something which you're using, I even get the OTPs in my in my Mac systems, right? So that also can be viewed by the third party, whoever is trying to compromise your machines. Adware, it is, you go to certain websites, you get to see a lot of ads coming from there. Maybe it is not even related to what you want, but it will tell you your system is compromised, you need to download this, otherwise your system will have issues. Different kinds of pop-ups, but there are certain websites which has good pop-ups also. I'm not completely denying that fact, but certain websites which just have, some places, if you go to a place where you normally download your if you try to download your torrents, or if you visit some kind of websites like that, that is when you will have a lot of places where you can see lot of the pop-ups which is coming up, completely irrelevant to your activity, what you're doing. But it will just open up something, it will say this is what you need, your system is hacked and you have to download this. So that, those kind of things also. Trojan horse, one of the best thing. Trojan horse, it's a malware which misleads user with its true intent. It will not tell you that, oh, I'm a virus. It will show you I'm a good guy, you can take me for granted, download me, I will not do anything to you, I'm a nice guy. But immediately after you download, that will become a big problem. It will get injected into other files, other all your whatever you call, it can propagate themselves, it will flood like anything. So immediately if the Trojan horse come to a network, right, it is better to actually completely shut that machine from the network. Otherwise it is going to flood through all that, wherever that particular network is connected to, it will take it seconds actually to propagate the viruses. Trojan horse is not a worm. A worm is, it's a program which replicates. People know that it is a worm. When you go to certain website, it will tell you this is a worm. But Trojan horse will not let you, will not, when you are affected with the Trojan horse, you will not know that is actually a virus. You will think, you will not even realize that particular file is a virus. But with the worm, most of the antiviruses are capable of identifying the worms. At least if it has a small payload issues, if it has a small payload which anywhere calls out, it can easily differentiate. But it is very difficult to actually understand from a worm, to a Trojan horse, whether that is a malicious program. It will be completely, it will completely have a shadow image of it, we will not even realize. Virus and Trojan horse, a lot of difference. Again, it is two different things. Virus needs to be executed, right? Even Trojan horse has to be executed to actually run it, but again the same difference. Virus, again, once you have the payload, it's easy for the antivirus softwares or ethical hackers to identify what is this. But it is very difficult for Trojans actually to realize whether it is a Trojan. We will not know. And if someone is trying to compromise your mission, and if he's very smart, if he's clearing his track properly, then it'll be very difficult for any the forensic investigators or digital forensics guys to actually go back and find who actually did this, unless they reveal themselves. So there are certain ways to identify the Trojan horses. So most of the cases are, we never actually get to know whether it is a Trojan horse. So sometimes what happens, we have to understand what is actually causing this issue, drill down. That is where the forensics comes in place. Your digital forensics comes in place. This happened in, I think, 2017 time. Normally, what happens when you design a website, people used, they used Apache struts. So they were using a version of 2.0.2, I believe, and they started to have, they built their completely on that. And Apache struts actually updated their software into 3.0. So what happened was, in 2.0.2 there was actually vulnerability, but Equifax didn't actually upgrade it. They thought, okay, we are good with it. Okay, so what happened after that was, they found that what the hackers did was they tried to search for the companies which was using the previous version, which was not, which was not having this updated versions. They searched entire globe and they found Equifax was not updated. They hacked that machine. They hacked their websites using different terminologies, but they hacked those Apache struts and they actually acquired around 40 million people. 40 million. Can you imagine the? And when you say Equifax, it had information about your social security number, your driving license, your name, your any details, right? Especially in US, if you see, they save every details. It will be completely digital. So every information was actually, it was completely compromised. So people, they had a real tough time to understand from where the threat came. Then immediately they got to know during the forensic investigator, they helped them understand this is because of this vulnerability, and they they had forced to upgrade it to the next version of the Apache struts. So that is where, always make sure, imagine if you're in office or if you're using your personal laptops, whenever there is a security update which is coming in, please make sure you update it properly. You have to make sure that you update your patches. Once you're not updating your patches, that is when your system is becoming vulnerable. There will be certain vulnerabilities which will have problems. So always make sure you update your machines and do not use pirated softwares. Do not use all this pirated OS and everything, because that itself will have something. They would have actually nulled it using a different way, right? So that nulling itself is actually compromising that particular software's securities. So they are making a open port there, and once there is an open port, it is easy for anyone who want to compromise your machines. And when I'm saying compromising your mission, it is not just compromising your mission. Imagine you are using your personal laptops to connect to a office network, then your entire office will be under threat. So always make sure you guys are safe. Do not use any such pirated softwares or such things. Okay, so now just we are just gonna take a bit time to explain how this malware actually comes in, right? So malware can be attacked using email attachments. I love you virus. That was one of the biggest thing, right? There was an antiworm also to counter that. People created an antiworm immediately. So through APK file, you have won a lottery. That those kind of emails are called as phishing emails. So those are not the malwares. They're not actually causing you a problem, but they're actually making sure you actually believe that you have won something and they are taking you for granted. So that's a different thing. So software downloads, as I said, there are three different ways actually a malware can be executed in your machines. One is through email attachment, which you normally use any emails. Software downloads, mainly because when you take some softwares, null softwares or anything from a torrent or something, which will have some kind of a threat. Then OS vulnerabilities. OS vulnerabilities are nothing but you get actually you know any software, any OS if you have, there will be certain vulnerabilities in that. So you have to make sure that you properly, and your antivirus should be in such a way that, imagine if you are using Windows 10, your antivirus should be actually designed for that, so that some of the vulnerabilities what antivirus that particular Windows 10 particular version will have, antivirus will automatically adjust to that and it will try to fix it. These are the ones which normally we have. How to stop a malware, right? So this is what I said. Do not click on suspicious links. Always make sure that you study the URL. Whenever you see a URL, you make sure that, because I have seen many places where and if you are aware of Kali, there is a tool which in Kali has, it's called as social engineering toolkit, and in that you can actually create a mirror image of any website, and whatever you're typing there on that particular website, I can actually see sitting here. So such things are there actually. So you have to be very careful. And imagine you are getting if you are getting something like or you want something, you have to click on this link. Please do not, never do that. Always read through the email, what it looks like, and anyone, then only you have to take a call on this. Updated firewalls, always make sure that you have a firewall updated. You have to have a in Windows, if you see, it is Defender, but I'll say it is of very less use as Defenders. but make sure that you have a separate firewall. If you are working for if you are working from home using a personal computer, make sure that you are using a proper firewall. And it also prevents when imagine what is the ultimate goal of any of these hackers, right? They want data. They want to make sure your reputation is at stake. They might call you for a ransom. So all those things, they need something from your mission. So this, the advantage of firewall is that you can limit the data downloads and everything. So when imagine someone is actually trying to get some information from your laptops. So if you have a good firewall, that will be stopped. Your informations are not actually immediately actually given to them. Maybe they might still get some of the information, but not fully. That is where the cryptography comes in place. So if you are saving it in a proper place, so it is actually better. How to identify a counterfeit site? It is always recommended to always visit SSL enabled, which is HTTPS, and always make sure there is a certificate attached to it. Read the certificate. Is it given to that particular website? And always see, if you imagine you're going to Amazon.com, always go to the website and double check that is showing Amazon.com itself. Maybe it will show as something else. So always make sure that is, you confirm that it is always HTTPS secure to actually enter all your details, and also the website name is defined as it should be. And then the updated OS, right? It is always recommended, whichever OS you're using. Is it a Mac, if a Linux, Windows, any flavors of Linux. So always make sure that you update it properly. As I said, virus companies will not have, if I'm finding a new virus, they will come back with a patch for that. Imagine if I'm going to design something new, then they will not have the payloads ready for that. They will not have the anti-worm ready for that. So they will only have the data what is currently happening. So they get the data from where? So all these maps, all this hacking happening. So they get the data from there. What do you mean by cracking? So you are creating a vulnerability and you are removing some of the patches from that particular software to make sure you are able to enter to the software without entering your the registration code or something, right? So that way, if you think, it is completely vulnerable. There will be some places they might have completely changed the code also using that keyloggers or the key gens, what you call the key generators, right? So it is always recommended, do not use that. I can keep virus inside a zip folder also. As I said, hacking is an art. So I don't know. That's a lot of process for somebody to hack, isn't it? It depends on the vulnerability what I'm trying to hack. So if I know a website which is having an SQL injection vulnerability, it will hardly take me minutes to actually hack that. But imagine I'm gonna hack a banking website which is highly secured, so that will actually take time, right? So it requires a lot of patience. So anyone who actually want to become an ethical hacker, I always recommend them to have a lot of patience, because it is not that easy. Okay, come and start doing the hacking. No, it is a lot of process. And now comes the phishing. So what is the phishing? It is one of the social engineering thing. So it is luring, right? I can say I'm targeting a person and I'm saying, oh, you want a holiday to to Paris, and you have to click on this link to avail that. So, and based on the tracking, right, your track and everything, I might have found that you are looking for a holiday package, and I will say market price is 1 lakh, but I'm giving it, this is an offer going on, and you are going to get it for 10,000 rupees. And as a normal human tendency, what we will do, oh man, this is actually a good offer, we click on that, and it will ask you for information. It will ask you to fill your name, it will ask you to fill your details. You fill it, and some of them will even ask you to enter your card details. And once you enter it, you're done. You will not have the the holiday, but your entire credit limit will be actually taken care by the hackers. So do not ever give your card details to anyone. Nobody's going to ask for that. And especially you might get some request notice, and the recent what I have seen is that even I got one today. You won't believe that. So it is from Paytm, saying that there is a request which has made by some company for 200 rupees. There is a request made by them, and it's a request, right? And nobody is going to request money for us. And you have to always make sure whenever you get a request from any of these UPI applications, never ever click on that. And we don't know what might they will be doing, so never ever do that. Imagine you are going to a cyber cafe, right? I mean, not a cyber cafe, supermarket. You would have said, there will be some lot happening, lottery kind of a thing happening where they will ask you to enter your name and details. You will enter that thinking, oh, you will win something. All those details are actually being compromised, yes. So every information you actually put in under websites, right, or websites, or or the supermarkets when they're saying there is a lottery happening, so they are actually selling your data. All this data is being sold to different people, and they are using it for their benefits. And if you actually go to Google and search for database for mobile numbers and email address, there are people even selling that. So that is how things are. We can't overcome with that. That is how the system is. I don't think we can. It's only about the self awareness. So you have to be aware of what details you should share and what not to be sharing. So let's go a little more information on the phishing part. So stealing confidential data, harvesting login credentials, impersonating. You are registering. You are actually entering your SIM numbers in your place, right? You enter that. Do you think those people are keeping it handy? Even the numbers are being sold by Vodafone, Airtel, and everything. It is not that they are keeping their numbers with them. So these are the how they use the the phishing for stealing confidential data, harvesting your login information, maybe your card details or your internet banking details, your email credentials, or impersonating. Same thing which happened in Jamtara kind of movies. So if you see this email, this is an email which is come from Amazon, said to be coming from Amazon to someone. They claim to have your account details are compromised. We have strong reason to believe that your credentials have been compromised and might have been used by someone else. We have locked your account. Please click here to unlock. So if you see the email address which is come from, it is called management at masoncanada.ca. So this is where I said, please make sure that you are just seeing from where it is coming from, and always read the emails. Here there is, if you see the client, they will never say the dear client. They will always say, if it is addressed to you, they will always say that this is from which place. It is like dear Nitin. So it will be always addressed to that person. They will never say dear client. And this click here, if you see, it will open some, see, it is actually fake amazon.com. And when I click on that, it will open that particular email. I mean, the particular page, it will look exactly like your Amazon itself. And they will make sure that you enter your details there. And as a practice, we would have saved our card details and everything in Amazon, and it becomes easy for them to actually compromise your bank details. So please always read. And this is just an Amazon example, but imagine if it is coming from a bank. You will always click that, and your whatever savings you have made, it is gonna be of heavy situation for you. So this is the phishing awareness. So always make sure that you make sure your all the spellings in the email is prompt, it is correct. Always make sure the emails which is coming from that particular place itself, say for example it is amazon.com, it should be at amazon.com. They will never send it from any of the other places. And the link what they are asking for, just see if it is http. No companies will have that in http will have it, because it is not secured enough to have that and have safe secure information. Most of the mobile application has permission to storage, camera, etc. From security point, what measure we should take? See, imagine if Gmail is asking for that information, you can still give that, because Gmail is from from a provider of Google and will have some security measures. But imagine you're downloading an application just like it just came in yesterday in Play Store or in App Store, and you downloaded it, and it is asking for some information like your you know camera or your files, your microphone. So never give that. Just see the reviews, make sure that application is genuine, download it, have a neat scan of the application, then only use it. So, the next one is actually on the password attacks. What are the different kinds of password attacks? So I'll keep the demo to the last so that, we first discuss about it. Then we'll have the demo to the last. So password attacks are nothing but, it is actually a process of recovering your passwords. Not just cookies in web browsers. It is, see, if you actually go to Google and if you search for most common kept passwords, right, you can actually get some, millions of passwords. And if I can download that and make a dictionary and I can attack your machines using that dictionary, most of the times, around 60% of the times, it is it is actually a mix of that. I'm not saying it is 100%, but maybe 60% of the time it is similar. So, password like 12345, ABCDEF, COTI, welcome, password at 1234. Such kind of passwords are very, very, very easy to hack. It hardly takes 5 minutes for me to actually compromise that. And, depends upon the, when I say compromise, it depends upon which platform you're using. So if for example, if you're using Gmail, and if I want to compromise your Gmail systems, it is a little tough because Gmail has a countermeasure which can actually prevent me entering the password multiple times. You might have seen that. It will come with, that uh, capture kind of a thing. It will make sure that you are not a robot. So that way it will actually prevent. But some places it doesn't. I can enter my password n times. I have written a code which can actually get all the passwords what you have saved on your machine in your Google Chrome saved password. It's a very simple Python code. So never save your passwords on Chromes. Make wherever possible, you can always go for the two-way authentication. One is a OTP which is come to your email or to your mobile numbers, and one is a regular password. These are the kind of password attacks what you normally see: a brute force attack, dictionary attacks, and keyloggers. Brute force attack is that everyone knows we are gonna try combinations of passwords n times until we find the password. What can someone do if they have already clicked on the link and the machine is compromised? How safe is to use app like Zoom? Zoom had a lot of vulnerabilities when they actually hit the market, and they didn't fix it because there was not much of a users for Zoom in the beginning. Zoom really became hit during this pandemic situation, and they didn't fix that vulnerability. They actually kept it like light. So that is where, you know the hackers started using those vulnerabilities, and they started getting into the certificate level of information on your laptops and your mobile applications, and they got all the details. If you have used the social login to your other applications, right, that way it is actually creating a token. It actually creates security token, and the security token will be actually given to the third party application also, and that is how they communicate. And if I can get the security token of that using CSR of hacking, or the web hacking part, XSS hackings and everything, so I can get to know that this particular token is being used, and I can also log into your email IDs. See, Mac is little different on the keychain. It is a different because it has certain security measures by itself, but I would still not recommend to use that. It is always recommended to enter your card details. You are making any payments only on HTTPS websites. Never do that on HTTP because it is not secured. Viewing it is okay, and whenever there is you are viewing HTTP, if you are not downloading anything from this, that is still fine. You are see that particular website is vulnerable. You don't have anything to do with that, so you are safe. You shouldn't actually write down your passwords anywhere. That's your personal asset. You shouldn't be writing it. So keep your passwords in a very simple way. There are certain passwords which you can actually remember it easily. So there are certain websites which will help you to set up password generators, and which will tell you also that it is easy to remember that password. And always change your password regular intervals. Always make sure that you change your passwords. Do not keep it with respect to your names, with respect to the place you live, or with respect to the school you have studied. What book you're following, what book you're reading currently. So never do that. And always make sure that your passwords are alphanumeric. It has a mix of both. Like if you are putting password as a password itself, right, you can actually keep P, the caps P, A as in at the rate, S as in dollar dollar, W 0 R D. So keep something. This is easy to remember also. It is not very complicated to remember this password. And your password is password, but you are mixing it with things. So this is what I was talking about. Say for example, if you're keeping a password like this, it becomes easy for to remember, right? You can keep like this with anything. You can keep your A as at the rate, S as a dollar symbols. Come up with new passwords like this, and never use any dictionary words as password maybe like online, looking, cybersecurity, security. So those are very, very, very difficult to actually to, very easy to actually to crack it, because there are certain websites which will actually give you the dictionary files, the entire dictionary words, which I can make a combination of it. So, come up with something new, innovative, so that you can keep your password safe. The next one is DDoS. We call it the god of attack, right? Denial of service. What is a DDoS? What is a DOS attack? With the name itself, it says it is making sure a particular mission or a network is making unavailable temporary or permanently, right? So they are making sure it is they hack, they particularly compromise their missions, and their particular website or what normally happens is they send multiple packets, huge number of packets of data into particular network, and your firewall or your system will get confused whether it is a proper proper packet or anything, and it will go wrong. And once it goes wrong, then the particular website will go down saying, oh, I got some request like this and I'm not able to serve that request, and that is when your application website will go down. So if you see this place, it will actually show, see, from 4 systems your server is getting hit and your packet is getting flooded. Once that happens, it is very difficult for the particular system to identify how or from where these packets are coming, what should I respond. When there is a confusion happening in the server side, then your server will not respond and your service will be unavailable. It can be either a website or it can be a server. So the preventions are traffic analysis, traffic control, recovery management. And when I say traffic analysis and traffic control, IPS and IDS, those are the biggest things in this space. IDS again, not that effective because it is just a defensive system, but IPS, it's a prevention, right? So always go for IPS. If you are working for an organization, if you don't see an IPS in place and there is a lot of people connected to the network, always recommend them to go for IPS. It is always better to have an IPS system in place rather than going for a IDS. And make sure that you have a recovery plan. Imagine your server is going wrong and you have to make sure there is a recovery plan in place. Otherwise, things will go again weird and your entire system will be compromised. Man in the middle, it's one of the best attack. It's always called as, it is also called as MITM, man in the middle attacks, MITM. And you won't believe it is very critical. It is also called as hijack attack. IPS and IDS are two different, either a hardware or a software systems, which is to prevent. I mean, IDS is used for detection of any kind of traffic which is coming into it, but IPS is something which is used for prevention. IPS will stop an attack, but IDS will only monitor an attack. That is the difference between IDS and IPS. So it is intrusion prevention system is IPS. So man in the middle attack is nothing but, say for example, you are going to access your banking application. I am going to set up something in between to that, and you are going to communicate with me first. Then you are going to the bank application. Yeah, if you see here, I'm requesting something. It is actually going to the man in the middle first. Then that information is sent to the bank, and whatever information is bank is sending, it is actually coming through that person. So if I'm entering my username and password, he is the first person to see that, and after that it goes to the bank. So here also again, always use HTTPS so that you are not using certain website which is not which is vulnerable. Invest in a VPN. If you can invest on a VPN, go for that. Otherwise, I will say you go for Tor browser, and I will recommend using Tor browser instead of using your Google Chrome or anything. Not just Tor browsers, but other websites like Tor browsers. So what is a drive-by download? It's actually an attack. So imagine you are going to a website, a very good website, and they are saying you to download something, and you are authorizing the download, but you don't know what is the consequence of it. You are going, imagine you're going to Amazon website, and that website is asking you to download something. Say for example, imagine certain websites ask you to download that extensions, right? The Chrome extensions. But do you really know what does that do when you download the extensions? Most of us never do. Some of us may know about it, but most of us will never understand why we are downloading this extension. So what happens at the end of the discussion, end of the day, is that you would have downloaded an extension, but you authorize downloading it. You actually doesn't know what is the consequences of that particular download is going to bring to you. And with that download, they might be able to spy you. They might be able to, it is a malware, it is a spyware. So it can be a Trojan, it can be anything what you are downloading. So they get idea of your applications. So this one, it's a new example what we are showing here. So if you go to this place, it is actually asking you to download something, some of these files, and once you download, your informations are getting saved. So I got connection request on Google saying they provide free services to help to study in us. Try that. I would not say just ignore it in the beginning. Go for it. If they really do, if they're asking you for more information, then do not share the information. Just cut it from there. But there are certain organizations, certain NGOs which is running to help also. But always go for that. See what is that trying to offer. Do not give them any personal informations. Just say you might have got the information from my LinkedIn profile itself. With this information, what is that you can help me with? That's it. So the next ones are the malvertising. This is something very common, right? If you go to any websites now, you can actually see a lot of places which is actually having this advice. Is it safe to use ad blockers in Chrome? Definitely. So malvertising is a very simple thing. It is like online advertisements to spread the malware, right? See, if you look at AdSense, that is again advertisement, but I can use my advertisements in a legitimate way and also illegal way. So, I mean, legal way. So, if I'm promoting my websites in certain platforms, I can use it properly. But I can also, I can also make sure that my applications are, I am promoting some malwares also. How do you differentiate it? So that is when you understand the seriousness of what you are accessing to. Then that is where people say, do not access your torrents if you do not have antivirus in place. Do not click on the links when you click on torrents and everything. Deep web or dark web, we cannot be spied. See, it is huge. What you are seeing on the normal web is only 4%. Rest 96% lies on, the deep web and dark web. You can imagine the data, right? With this 4%, you see how much of data we are going through at this current situations. And imagine 96% is not still seen. So that's what I said. The 4% of your top iceberg is your normal internet. Bottom is deep web and your, dark web. Incognito is having, uh, it doesn't save your cookies to an extent, but it is, still Google can track you. It is not that Google cannot track you if you are still using incognito. So, in malvertising, be very careful what websites you're actually visiting, how, what kind of ads you're seeing. So please make sure that, you are, when if you are clicking on certain websites links, right, it will actually redirect you into some place and that will actually insert a malware onto your machines or to your mobile also. So please do not click on certain things. So make sure you use a proper adware. Make sure you use software updates, and the biggest thing what we need here is a common sense. So add-ons like cookie removers, block tracker, and everything, better not to use it. So use a proper browser like Tor browser and use a VPN, and always make sure you're using a latest updated browsers so that you are safe. And the last one is rock software. So software is nothing but, imagine you are accessing certain websites, and that website will tell you that your system is having virus. Your system is having virus, but actually there is no virus in your system. It is just telling you, it is just creating a confusion in your mind, saying that there is a virus in your machine. You have to download this particular software. Once you download this, this is an antivirus for solving this particular issue. As a normal individual, what we do, we download the software, we install it. As soon as you install it, that is the time when the real virus has come to your machine. So if you go to certain websites, you can say your system is compromised. Your system is compromised. 80% of your system is compromised. Please download the software. This is this is anti-malware software which you can use to revoke this access. So do not ever do that. Nobody is going to know your system is compromised from a website. It is like there are only 0.1% chances that a website can tell you your phone or your laptop is compromised. They can tell a website is having vulnerabilities, but not a software or not a mobile or not a laptop. How does it propagate? Yeah, see, please update your software to unlock yourself from unknown access. And that is when you're actually downloading the virus. Now let me show you on a Tor browser which we discussed, right? So I'm just going to access Google here. And if you see Google, so if you see here, this is how it has guarded your connection. This browser, it went to France, it went to United Kingdom, it went to France again, and the Google. And I can make a new circuit. If I click on this, you can see the circuit has changed now. It has gone to France, it has gone to Sweden, and I've used the last connection as Luxembourg, and I'm using google.com. So it is very difficult for someone to actually get my information. It is same across. If I go to youtube.com, right? So if I go to youtube.com, it will still open up with different places. It has gone to France, it has gone to Switzerland. So there are certificates, there are certain providers for certificates, which normally opens up for different, there are companies like Commo. So if you look at the certificate here, see, this is the certificate, more information, view certificate. See, this certificate has been issued to google.com. This is how actually you can see a certificate. Okay, so I will show you some of the some programs which is actually which will actually tell you how we normally you know hack certain machines. So let me show you that. So this is this is all written in Python. So this is why I say Python is very important for any of this hacking particular things. So if you see, this is like I can run this program in any of your machines. So once I run this program in your machines, what I'm getting here is almost equal to the data what I'm getting when I'm using a nmap, right? So the similar nmaps is what I'm using here. I'm getting what is your mission, what time is running on a mission, which folder I'm currently in or you are in, what kind of Python I'm using, operating system which I'm using, what is my node, which node is nothing the host name, then what is the OS version I'm using, what is the bit I'm using, what is the processor I'm using. Always use see, I would not recommend an antivirus, but it is always it is based on your what do you say, your affordance. You can go for quick heal, you can go for Kaspersky, but do not go for antiviruses like this Trend Micro. These antivirus need to have in Linux OS. Some platforms doesn't need antiviruses, but it is not just antivirus, right? As I said, it is your firewall. You might not need antivirus, but there are virus firewalls which you can use. Certain firewalls you can use, VPNs you can use. So it is all depending upon your your interest. You can have what is your activity, what you're performing in the particular missions. That is how you have to use it. So I'll show you the bombing which normally happens. So if you see, one second, okay, so I will not be use the bulk bomber here because it will actually email the complete systems. So this is how this will work. So if I use bomber.py, so the name underscore bomber. So what happens here is, I have not specified that. I'll show you how the code looks like here. So if you see here, right, this is gonna actually create an application which can bomb emails, and this is written on Python using simple commands like this. So we are gonna bomb emails onto your servers. It can be any email servers which we can use. It will start sending emails, it will start sending those to your particular IDs. So it is like you can actually mention, if you want to do like this, you can actually mention what is the, you know demo at demo.com, then your the password of it, this particular sender password, imagine it is password, then to whom you want to send this. Say for example, I want to send it to Alok at alok.com, subject hello, then how subject hello, how message is hi, and how many times. If I just do like this, no, this is actually gonna send thousands of messages to Alok. So I have to actually mention that hyphen h, hyphen f, hyphen p, hyphen t, hyphen s, that's the argument conditions what I've given. So I send like this, it is actually gonna send 1,000 messages to Alok system. Any emails, right, I can just send different people like this. I can use SMS bombers are very easy, and there are other mechanisms also. So this is one of the program. Then get email addresses. It is a simple program. Text to hash dot py. Yes. So here, so what we are going to do here is we are going to hash, we are going to encrypt, we are going to use a cryptography here. So here it looks like, this is the code. This is like we have MD5, SHAL, SHA224, 256, 384, 512. So, and like I say, I'm gonna use, let me put 1 minute, hyphen T, hyphen T, MD5. This is how Abhishek hashing look like in MD5. See, MD5 is a old one, I would say. So imagine if you want to use what else I have defined here, CHFI 12, which is the most secured ones at this point. So if you see, this is how Abhishek will be written in SHFI 12. SHA1 nobody uses now. Very few people are using SHA1. I don't think anyone is currently using SHA. So always go for SHA 256, 128, or 512. So this will have, you know 256 is also there. This is how the 256 look like. The ciphers will be like this for that. This is how the 512 look like. There is different mechanisms to decode it. So this is I'm encoding it now. I can decode it also in different programs. This is an encoding program what I have written. I can, here if you see, I'm decoding it. I mean I'm encoding it. I can use a similar type to encode it also. If you see here, I'm using encoder, MD5 encoder.xdigit. I can use a decoder for that. I can decode it back to this. Now let me show you a snitch of this Kali Linux also. Okay, cool. So now let me show you a bit. I'm not able to show you much of this, but I'll just show you a small glimpse of how your all this Kali Linux will look like. So here if you see, we have the social engineering. This is one of the best tool, and I can also show you the Nmap. So if for example I'm gonna use Nmap uh, in, okay, let me try Edureka itself. Okay, so it is gonna start scanning Edureka now. So scanning Edureka. So port scanning, there is no port opened for Edureka. Okay, let me try with Google if it is working. Okay, let me run www.google.com. Yes. If you see now, it is going to tell me which are the ports which is open. You can see here. Discover open port 80, 443. 80 is what? The normal HTTP port. And 443 is your SSL. And it is going to take some time. And it is running on stealth mode. So this is a SIN stealth mode which I'm running now. I'm not having permission to run this now, right? I don't have. I can run it and I can see which are the ports which is open. I can use Nmap to actually know that which are the ports which is open in that particular systems, and I can get those information. So if you see here, these are the ports which is open, and it will tell me these are the ports which is open, which is using this service and using this service. Let me try YouTube. No, let me try Facebook. Right? No, these are all certain places. I don't know what. Sometimes wait. I got it. So now we are scanning Facebook. I don't have to actually declare the HTTP or HTTPS. So for Facebook also we have these two ports open. There are 4 ports which is open for Facebook, but these are two closed. But still, it was sometime open. So let me try Edureka now. Yeah. It's just saying a host is down. I don't know, maybe some reasons. So, this is how the Nmap works. I just wanted to, give you a glimpse of Nmap. And this is how the Kali Linux will look like. You have all kinds of tools here. So this is another application which I thought I'll give you an idea of. So I'm gonna take the cybersecurity. I'm gonna take website attack. I'm gonna take this thing. I'm gonna take site cloner, and I'm gonna enter my IP address here. And I'm going to enter www.facebook.com. Now, what actually happens is, if I go to my browser, Firefox, yeah. So if I go to my Firefox now, and I enter my IP address here, what is happening here is, this is not the real one. So if you see the IP address is this, I'm getting the website loaded. It's taking some time, and this is some caching issues. But imagine I'm entering my, say for example, something is there already. Hello, and I'm entering my password. Hello, and I'm clicking on OK. You just clicked, right? What happened after that is I'm actually getting whatever you guys are entering there. All your informations is actually getting saved. You just have to read through this particular report, what is coming, and then you can find I entered the username and password. And this is a simple mechanism of social engineering. So this is a simple mechanism of having that. Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy your rest of the evening, and stay safe, stay indoor. All the best, guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Have a nice day.